Am I being gaslit or are they just being defensive? We hear the word gaslit and gaslighting a lot these days in relationships. And the trouble with that is when everything's gaslighting, then nothing is. But your reality is your reality. So let's dig into what it really means and how you can figure out what's going on. So let's start with, what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is when someone repeatedly denies your reality, rewrites history to suit their narrative, and minimizes your experience in order to feel in control. It's a pattern and it is repeated. It is not a bad argument, someone getting defensive or remembering things differently. Healthy relationships, good people have messy arguments. We all get guilty of being defensive, of remembering things differently, but believing our view to be the only one that's correct. And I think we can all be guilty of that behaviour, particularly when we're in conflict and when a relationship ends. So I think it's very important to really stop, take stock and figure out what's going on, because when we label things, again, that can make us feel powerless. And you know, if you've watched any of my videos, that I am always about feeling empowered in any dynamic so that you know you have control and leverage over your own life. And when we label things in certain situations, it can make us feel like, well, there's nothing I can do. And that fosters a victim mindset. So let's start by saying we all have the potential to get defensive, to be dismissive, to tell someone else that their experience was different to ours. I think it's really important to be aware of that. Gaslighting is manipulative, and it is consistent, and it is isolating. And I think one way to tell the difference is if you are in an argument where someone is being defensive, you're going to walk away feeling super frustrated. If you walk away from a discussion where you are being gaslit, you are going to walk away feeling completely destabilized. Am I imagining things? Did I make that up? Like, you start to really question your own reality. That's quite a big difference, and I think it's really important to be aware of that. So I have worked with many clients, and often they'll come to me and say, he is a narcissist, he's gaslighting me. And when we actually get down into what's happening, it's two people who have heightened emotions, who are disagreeing, who have different conflict styles, and ultimately are not having healthy conflict. But it's not gaslighting. It's just different memories, different lived experiences, remembering things differently. However, I want to give you an example of a client that I worked with who absolutely was being gaslit. So throughout their whole marriage, there had been countless incidents where she has been made to feel that she was making things up, that the experience that she had with her partner and other female relationships was in her head, and that no one else would agree with her. Everyone else thought she was going mad. And it's another sign of gaslighting, is that they isolate you from external validation. So they are telling you no one else is going to believe you. Everyone else agrees with me, without actually giving you the opportunity to test that theory, because you're isolated and you are left genuinely doubting your own experience. And this happened consistently. And even at the point where the relationship ended, she still was reflecting on previous experiences and going, but that was okay, wasn't it? Because she had completely been bought into his version of reality. And so it was hard for her to step out of that and look back and go, oh my God, that wasn't okay. And so I think it is really important to understand the difference, because one is a clinical, manipulative, can be quite dangerous situation. The other is not good, it's not healthy, it's not toxic, but it's toxic, but it's poor communication and it's unhealthy conflict, but it can potentially be resolved. Not always, but there is a difference. And I think it's really important because, as I've said, and just to reiterate, when we label everything, if we label all of our exes as narcissistic, then we have to kind of go, well, hang on a minute. If every person I've ever got with was a narcissist, what's going on? One, because we want to take responsibility for our own role in our life and the choices we've made and the barriers or boundaries we haven't held, and the way we've communicated. If we put all of the blame on other people, there's no growth and we're going to keep repeating those same mistakes. But also, we're missing the opportunity to learn, but the chances are we're unlikely to only ever date narcissists, because clinical narcissism and therefore gaslighting are quite rare, but narcissistic behaviour and poor defensiveness are common. So if you want to feel empowered and you want to feel like you have leverage over your own life and that you are in control of your choices and your future and your life, then be mindful of over-labeling. There is a place for all of these things. My purpose is to help you feel empowered in your life. And sometimes when we have labels, that takes away our power. That makes us go, well, there was nothing I could do because they were gaslighting me. There was nothing I could do because they're a narcissist. And I'm saying, well, what can you do, even if they are a narcissist or they're gaslighting, but if they're defensive, well, what can you do? What can you do? How can you take back that power and that control so that you feel like you have a voice in your relationships? How can you have healthy conflict? How can you communicate in a way that encourages openness and connection rather than escalates and creates defensiveness? We remember things differently. That's okay. It's okay to remember things differently. It's okay to have a different view and disagree. I genuinely believe conflict in relationships is really, really important. But conflict doesn't have to mean slamming doors or ignoring each other for 5 days or, any of those sort of more extreme conflict styles. The competitive conflict where it's like, I'm right, you're wrong. It's a really common conflict style, but it doesn't necessarily move you forward and everyone ends up feeling frustrated. Whereas if you're going for a collaborative conflict style, a curiosity-led conflict style, because if someone doesn't agree with you, get curious. That's giving you information. That's telling you something about their values, their view of the world. And if there's someone you love and care about, then get curious. You want to know what makes them tick. So is it gaslighting? Ask yourself how you feel when you walk away. If you feel frustrated, like he just wasn't listening to me, that's likely defensiveness. If you walk away feeling completely destabilized, like what happened, that's more likely to be gaslighting, when you feel like you don't believe your own truth anymore and you're left questioning yourself. I hope you found this useful. You can subscribe if you want more information on how to navigate relationships and have healthier conflict and stronger communication and those really difficult conversations. Then please do subscribe and follow along.